Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Fuego here.
And I'm Marcia Parker.
And we have another 2016 in-theater review for you guys, and this one is The Other Side of the Door! Yeah, we've actually made up our own song to this one because I actually had a lot of fun with it. It was kind of a concept we had seen previously, you know, someone coming back from the dead and people maybe not making the best choices about doing it, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. What would you say, Cecil?
Yeah, all in all, I actually really enjoyed this one. We did a trailer reaction for it. If you guys haven't seen it, feel free to go back and check it out before you finish this review. But the story was a really good one, and while it was a slower paced horror movie, it was interesting the whole way through. I was into it, and I didn't mind the slower pace in this particular instance. So definitely a positive reaction from me. Marcia, What about you?
I thought it was okay.
Oh, now I see where she's going with this.
We have a dissenter in the ranks.
Was the slow pace something you didn't like so much?
Not that. I don't know. I guess to me it's a little overdone, you know. Within the first 10 minutes you realize, oh, okay, she lost. First I thought she lost both kids, then I realized it was just the one. But it's like, oh, it's about blame myself. Oh, and then they come back. And then the ghost, I was like, thought it was overdone as well. I thought they had some good scares, but I wasn't 100% sold on it.
And yeah, that bit of story that she's mentioning is you've got a grief-stricken mom. It's actually a mom from The Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of some interesting casting. I just remember her from the first 2 seasons because I didn't watch beyond that. I'm sure she lasted until her death, not too much longer.
Not too much longer beyond that,
Yeah, but she is like some major postpartum, man. She's in a car accident, falls underwater, and it comes down to saving one of her 2 kids, and she goes with her daughter.
A really quick Sophie's choice.
Yeah,
big
big
time.
Yes, you definitely don't. It's like, all right, what are you going to do? You're going to, make your pick. And so she decides to go with her pick, and unfortunately she's just destroyed by this choice, and her husband is trying to comfort her, and that's not transpiring. You saw him in Clueless, right, Marcia?
Yeah, I did.
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Although he is playing a decent guy, at least seemingly, in this one. Yeah. And so I saw so many comparisons in this, which even people who saw the trailer did, to Pet Sematary, because it's about, okay, somebody is gone, but can you bring them back at least in some degree, and what are you going to bring back with it?
I'm so sad. Is Oliver in heaven now?
Life's lost meaning.
What if I could bring your son back to you just one more time, so that you could say your final goodbye? There's an abandoned temple. It is said that the door of the temple is the key to the world of the dead. You will be able to speak to your son, but no matter what you do, you must not open the door.
That's the choice that is presented to this mother by their maid. And one cool thing, which was a big positive for me, is that it's in India, and you see some amazing cultural stuff. It actually added some authenticity for me to this being a similarly told story, but just making it feel unique. What about you, man?
Yeah, it definitely was a unique feeling. Here's the thing. It had a lot of elements that we've seen before in different films.
Yeah.
But it brought them all together in a way that felt pretty seamless, in my opinion.
The tropey thing I'm sure Marcia didn't like so much is that they're like, do not do this! And anytime you tell someone in a horror film not to do something, they're probably going to do it, right?
Yeah, but she didn't even do it in a way that I expected her to, though. It was more of like, oh, I think he's already gone, so it must be okay.
She half did it.
I mean, yeah, because he had already left, and I would have thought, well, I mean, he's already gone, so I guess what fucking matters? When are you supposed to open the door? How else are you supposed to get out of the fucking building without opening the door? That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe it would have been different if she had done it while he was still talking.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she got that neutrality
enough. That didn't bother me. That wasn't a sticking point, And we're not really spoiling anything, you guys.
No, that was even in the trailer. She opens the door.
She opens the door, and it's what happens after that's the crux of the film.
And
although it does take them a while to get there.
Yeah,
I think they did a really good job. I think it just feels like almost every other movie that I've watched, but just with a little different of a spin of it.
I guess on surface value, it could seem more simple than that. Yeah. But I liked the simplicity and the fact that it was what she thought it was. It was just degrading. It was rotting. It was like
She got what she wanted. It's just it's
not
one
in
of
the
those,
form
be
she was
careful what
hoping.
you wish for. Very
Exactly.
monkey's paw in that degree.
Exactly.
So
I like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
So we're all focusing on the story right now.
Mm-hmm.
Jaime and I, obviously, we were slightly bigger fans than Marcia, but let's jump into the acting of the movie. So what did we all think of the acting? Now, again, you mentioned that we had the actress that played Lori on The Walking Dead, and she was the crux of the story. I thought, she had a heavy burden in The Walking Dead, so we know that she can handle it, and I thought she did a really good job playing the emotional mom in this. What about you guys?
Yeah, she was a complete idiot like she was in The Walking Dead.
yeah, I was just about to say, I was...
Pull the scene forward, is all I'm going to say. But, no, I think they did a really good job. I think the acting was really well. I thought the sets were crazy awesome. The house that they were in, we were talking about it earlier, it was beautiful.
We were gushing off camera about it, about how just breathtaking it was.
The cinematography was great. It was a good job, but it just wasn't the type... I guess it wasn't what I was looking for.
Okay.
Well, what were you looking for?
I don't know,
Did you want it to be gorier? Did you want more scares? Because it was, the scares were not plentiful. It was more like a building eeriness. The occasional jump scare, which I found the jump scares effective.
I jumped a couple of times. I will
thought
say.
it was effective too. I think it's just the animal portion. Like, I can't watch another animal die today.
Yeah,
it does fall into that trope where the animal is used as cannon fodder, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a spoiler.
Tiny bit. Yeah, and there were lots of dead animals in Pet Cemetery, so you can just chill on that, but it is still, pretty disturbing. So I'm not going to downplay it.
So what did you guys obviously like the set design then?
Yeah.
If you like the locations and all that stuff. I thought it was really effective as well.
It's what made it feel fresh, like I was saying, that authentic note to the fact that, this can happen anywhere and within any religion. I liked how they brought in reincarnation and just the Hindu slant to this sort of ghost story. That felt unique to me as well.
I really did like the Hindu portion of it with bringing in their beliefs and how they would bring somebody back, and I don't know how authentic it is.
Those guys scared the crap out of me. Those guys that were
followers,
like
tribesmen type people.
Yeah, it's like one of those horror tales that you tell your kids and the legends and stuff that go associated with it. So
those guys gave me the creeps though, with the makeup all on their faces and stuff. And
that was good. Well, we'll get into the makeup. I want to stick with the set design real quick because it seemed to me like they had to shoot the movie almost in two different seasons.
Yeah.
Because the house was surrounded by lush green, stuff that was alive in the first half of the movie, and then when whatever it is released, everything starts to die around the house,
and
so it's the same location,
that make it authentic.
It's really cool. Like, everything is dead, and I'm like, there's no way they brought in all these different plants. Like, they must have just filmed it at a different time of year. And that sort of commitment to the film shows throughout the whole thing. But let's get back to what you were saying about the tribesmen and the makeup, and let's talk about the makeup and the effects. I thought the makeup on the tribesmen was really cool. Essentially, these tribesmen are said to paint themselves with the ash of it didn't really say the ash, but they supposedly
eat the flesh of the dead because it brings them closer to that other side, the other world, and that other world plays a big part in this, right? I mean, turns into not so much the villain per se. I'd say the villain maybe is more so the spirit that is released, in contrast with the keeper. That's kind of broad enough where it's not going to spoil much. But
the mom was the villain.
Yeah, the mom. I thought the mom was the villain too.
Honestly, can I just interject real quick? I hated that bitch. I couldn't stand her. She was so selfish.
Insanely. The character or the actress?
Maybe it's synonymous at this point.
Well,
but
she plays a bitch very, very well.
Well, that's good acting.
Well, I was praising her here, but her character just turned my stomach. She was so selfish, turning her back on her other child, her husband, being so selfish in the grieving process. I mean, but there was similar, just very self-centeredness in Pet Cemetery too, where he's like, I have to have my son back in any capacity. Dr. Creed did the same thing. So it was just a gender reversal, but it's similar selfishness and just not thinking about the consequence.
And then outside of that, there was a really cool makeup design, or just all around design, for another character that, again, Fuego alluded to, but we're not going to spoil.
No, because it's maybe the best part of the movie.
It was really awesome. And the design of the character was phenomenal. And we'll have a spoiler section at the end of this review, so if you want, stick with us and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But that was one of the scariest points.
Can I just at least say that so much scarier because of the developed mythos they presented with it?
Well,
that's real.
That's kudos to the story, in my opinion. You know, and again, I wanted to circle back because it's a good segue into the music of the movie. You guys liking the Indian setting and sort of the Hindu or Hindi religion aspect of it, and the music echoed that. You know, it had very East Indian influence throughout a lot of the music, and it worked really well. It set a tone and it matched the setting, obviously, and it just made the whole thing work. It made me feel like I was on a trip to India and I was there with them, and that's what good music along with good cinematography transports you there. That's what a good movie does, you know? So all in all, I mean, I would say it was successful. I mean, we've covered pretty much everything, but
I bet someone wants to talk spoilers.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. But
I spoil everything, I know.
Get out of my house!
I miss you, Mommy. I miss you, Mommy. I miss you, Mommy.
Oliver, where are you?
So this is a perfect time to jump into the spoilers, guys. Now, Marcia, is there anything you wanted to spoil about it? Is there something that you didn't like that you weren't able to talk about in the regular portion of the review?
What, the creature?
Yeah, or anything. No, I mean, whatever.
No, whatever.
Whatever you didn't like.
Okay, I think you guys were really stoked about the creature, and I liked it, except for it was like The Grudge and The Ring and all of those same type of ghost kind of crackling moves and stuff.
The necks and going.
Yeah.
She was pretty cool though. I liked
she felt unique to the region.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very... Basically, there's this creature that we're speaking of that the mom, played by the girl from The Walking Dead, when she goes to this temple to try and speak to her son, she's locked herself in and she starts to hear these sounds as she's waiting for her son to come back on the other side of the door.
And like a dumbass finally decides to explore the place and
with
go
a candle
downstairs.
with a candle.
With a candle.
Because why would you want to bring a flashlight to something like this?
Yeah.
It's sacred.
But she goes down and she sees this statue, which is this female-looking character, but it's got like 4 arms outstretched. And then 2 hands covering her face as well. And the mom basically starts to hear something and she gets freaked out and she rushes off. And then when she ends up opening the door after her son disappears or is going away and she doesn't want to lose him, we see that we hear sounds coming from the statue, and then we see it start crackling and moving, and we're like,
what's coming.
And then when we first saw it again, though, when it confronts the mom outside of the house,
I think you and I both jumped.
We did. We both jumped, and it does the thing ever since the extended director's cut of The Exorcist came out. And Reagan did the upside down spider walk down the stairs. People have realized.
A lot of purists don't like that, but that.
It's great when people realize the contortion. Like, it's the same reason the nurses in Silent Hill are scary, is because they're awkward and twitchy movements, but the contortion, even in Insidious 3, when the girl knocked off her cast, on her legs and was crackling, like, all of that combined into this creature.
Unnatural movements are scary.
Yeah, but the nice thing was it paid off at the end, because she never took her hands away from her face up until the end, when she finally came to claim the mom and the son, because at the end, basically, the mom ends up having to sacrifice herself to save her daughter and take the son's spirit into herself, which we'll talk about separately. That was... She basically pulls her hands away from her face, and then her face starts to... It's like a porcelain doll type look, and then her face starts to split apart, and like this light pours out of it, and it was just a really cool design.
It was great.
It was like you said, it was like The Grudge and The Ring, but also mixed with the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who, if you guys watch that.
Well, and this is also R-rated, so it wasn't really gruesome per se, but I think just the terror aspect of it was a little bit higher of a level in some of just that melting stuff and whatnot. It was cool.
Yeah, and again, I thought waiting for the scares were fine because they were good. And whenever you saw the boy in his and his degraded visage.
They were all brief.
Yeah, but it was really effective. And then when he possessed his sister, I thought that was really cool. It was effective, and they showed it just by her eyes going black and darkening around the eyes. Like, I don't know, there was just a lot that worked for me in this. What did you guys think about that the brother ended up possessing the sister? Did you see that coming? Or
I kind of saw it coming.
Yeah, I was like, what's taking him so long? But
really? Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then the daughter gets all crazy and kills her dad and the dog.
Which is what we were
like,
talking
it felt
about.
Like
that was one of my less favorite
parts. It happened
parts.
too fast.
Yeah.
It was unnecessary because, like, you're either going to make her become the bad kid and do some really horrible stuff and build it up until it kind of goes all child's play on her.
Yeah.
But it was just like a little bit of, okay, it's going to be the ghost. Okay, it's going to be possessed for like 2 seconds, and then everything's fine.
Yeah.
Then the mom's going to take her. Like,
they were trying to incorporate it all in, maybe.
Yeah. Right. I'm like, no, pick a design and go with it.
When she opened the door, it allowed the spirit of her son to come back into our world, but he's basically rotting. Like, if a soul could rot, that's what's happening. Literally, her son's soul that came back that was rotting and it's becoming evil. It wasn't a bait and switch, you know? And there was no saving his soul at the end. It was taken, you know? Yeah. And so she basically tells her daughter when she's possessed with the son's soul, like, you know, come into me and I'll go with you. Because he's like, I don't want to go back there. Sad, you know, poignant moment. And so he goes into her, and then the weird weeping angel grudge statue comes and takes her away.
Well, no, the guy stabs her. The village people stab her.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It was almost like a sacrificial
they have
to rid the demon of her.
Because they were going to sacrifice her daughter.
And the thing that I got to say, this is what I've been waiting kind of patiently for you guys might have seen to chime in on. The ending, I liked what they did in the end of it. The little twist was very cool, but this bitch wanted to die and be dead the whole time, and it drove me crazy because she finally got what she wanted. She just wanted to be dead with her son. You know, she was so selfish. I could not stand her character. While I enjoyed her acting, just the motivations and the illogical thinking. She pissed me off, man.
Yeah, legitimate gripes.
Well,
but yet it gave an essence of realism to her character.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, she was like that because she felt guilty, and she should feel guilty for killing her firstborn because she did. She could have easily been like, here, hold your sister out of the water while I get your leg out for being pinched between a seat and another seat. Kids are durable. You could rip his leg out.
Well, I mean, she was worried because the other daughter was unconscious, but it's like, okay, maybe.
He could have held her up.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, he could have.
Well, it's a shame you weren't in the car with them.
Yeah, I would have.
Marcia Paco would have made everything right as rain.
But that's what Jaime mentioned earlier. Referred to was the very end, which brought the movie sort of full circle, which I thought was a really good ending.
Awesome, it redeemed itself.
No.
Yes, it did.
Oh, it was great.
Totally did. Even though I didn't necessarily see how it could have happened, I uttered the same thing as Marcia in my head right afterwards. She's like, how did he know about that? You know, we're not going to totally spoil it.
Okay,
listen,
well, the maid is dead. Okay.
Yeah, but she's not the only one, I'm sure, in India that's ever heard of this temple.
But if your wife just died because all this crazy shit just happened to your house,
listen,
why would you go and do the exact same thing that she did?
Because he doesn't know that's what she did.
How do you know? But, okay, so you're making an assumption. Wait, you're making an assumption.
Listen,
that someone told him.
You're making an assumption that he specifically did something. I'm just saying he might not have.
Hold up, Zach Morris style. Time out.
No, so you're assuming that someone told him about the place, so he went there to do it. But why wouldn't they also tell him not to open the fucking door? Because it'll do this shit. They probably
did, but the maid didn't tell her.
They're gonna totally warn him in the same fashion.
The maid didn't tell her what would happen either. She just said, "Don't open the door."
Yeah, but I feel like he would be a little bit like, "Wait, what just happened at my house with all these tribesmen?"
He's too much in grief. He's lost his son and his wife now. When they're lost in grief, they can't help it. So what we're talking about is,
that's why I can kind of forgive her character a little bit for her dumb thinking.
What we're talking about is basically it ends with after she gets killed by the creature thing and taken. She wakes up all of a sudden, and when she wakes up, the camera pulls back, and you see that she's woken up and she's on the steps of the temple, and she hears her husband's voice calling out, saying, "Honey, is that you? Honey, I want to see you." And she starts walking towards the door, saying, "No, no!" And then it makes the illusion that the door gets opened and it cuts to black, and that's how it ends.
And then what starts playing is the other side of the door. Don't want to answer. It's coming soon by the horror show.
Yeah, exactly.
The door.
So there you go, guys. That's going to pretty much cover the review. We rambled a little bit towards the end there, but it was, there you go. This is sometimes what happens when you walk out of a movie theater and talk about a movie. So forgive us, and if you liked it, enjoy. So thanks very much for watching, you guys. I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias. I've been Jaime and Fuego.
And I'm Marcia Parker.
And until next time, remember,
stay
scared.
Don't open that door, or else.